we see a glimpse of a moment that a lot of people are gathered. The energy, the atmosphere, the intensity all points to the arrival of Jesus. But we quickly see that so many of them do not know what they're actually standing in. This moment is now referred to Palm Sunday. In your text, it might be called the triumphal or the triumphant entry. Jesus had done his ministry. He had been healing people, setting them free, raising the dead. He had been opening blind eyes. He had been doing miracle after miracle. And this is the day. This is the day. This is the moment that Jesus heads toward Jerusalem. And he's walking in, and the crowd is assembled there. And the expectation is at an all-time high, but it's misaligned, where they're not fully grasping what they're watching. You see, until this point, Jesus had been hesitant. He had not revealed his full nature. If you read through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels that tell the story of Jesus, you see that he would perform a miracle and he would say, be sure that you tell no one, keeping a low profile. But this is the moment that he makes himself known. It implies that he wailed with a frustrated desire over the missed opportunity. People are lining the roads, hailing him as king. But to Jesus, they had missed it. He had a desire to deliver them, but they had a desire just to have relief. He came to set them free from the things of destruction, and they were so fixated on their momentary circumstance. And so he wept. They celebrated his works, but they missed his intention. How often have I seen the hand of God? And I've moved on. Thanks, Lord. But I've missed the heart of what he was actually doing, the heart of what he was actually revealing. I've taken his favor, and I've enjoyed it, and I've loved it, and praise be to God that he shows up. Seriously. But have I missed him in the middle of it? I wonder if we got everything we ever wanted, it would lead to peace. I mean, we'll never know, because that will never happen. But if you got everything on your prayer list checked off, if you got every stressor lifted from your life, removed from your mind, out of your head and heart forever, everything was in its perfect place, would you have peace? Because peace will always be fleeting if Jesus is just helper, but never savior. If he's only fixer, but he never will actually walk in his forgiveness. We think so short-term when we're searching for solutions. We have such a short-term time horizon on the things that will bring for peace. Are you kidding me? I was getting this message that just killed me this week. Okay, I'm in a ball in the corner of my office, just like I'm springing another water, praying and contending. I'm like, as soon as this weekend is over, oh, thank God. And then I looked at my calendar and I saw next week and I'm like, oh no, I might just die on stage. It'll be a good way to go out. It doesn't end, does it? We think so short term. If the substance of God's kingdom was good works, he could change your human experience, but never your eternity. He could change your human experience, but not your eternity. He could change your difficulties, but not your destiny. He could fix the symptoms of your humanity, but not the salvation of your soul. The city of peace had misappropriated their identity, and Jesus said, you don't even know where to find it. And I think we do that sometimes too. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, can I remind you of what is said of your identity as people following Jesus? Peter writes this, you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness and into his wonderful light. That is good news. That is who you are. You are chosen, you are called, you are appointed, and you are positioned in right standing with him. Peace doesn't come from circumstances or political change or external control. But the problem is that if you've been showing up at church for any length of time, you've been showing up to the small group, you've been hitting the daily Devo, Jesus calling, you already know the answer to that question. If someone asks you like, hey, you think this election will lead to ultimate peace? And you're like, of course not, bro. That's only Jesus, the peace that passes understanding. But how quickly are we robbed when it doesn't go our way? How quickly are we robbed by the next headline? How quickly are we robbed by the next appointment? How quickly are we robbed by the next phone call that comes in? All these things are important and they matter to God. But I'm just telling you that that is not where peace is found. And we know that as Christians. We know that as people trying our best to follow Jesus. But can I just be real? Like, I'm the one on the street. I'm the one. Jesus, save now. Change this right now and everything will be okay. And Jesus is saying, actually, I have a higher level to call you to. And I wonder if this weekend in your heart, you could say, there's some things that are misaligned in my life. Therefore, I am missing out on the peace of Christ. I wonder if this weekend you say, this is the day that I've got to get some things right. Jesus looks out over Jerusalem. He weeps. He challenged them to know the things that make for peace. And then he goes on to talk about how the whole thing is going to crumble. Talks about how no stone will be left on top of another because they had missed the cornerstone. The foundation was bad. The problem was where they started. If we can start in the right place with our view of God, if we can start in our right place as we reflect on who the King is, everything else will come back into line. This is the day, he said, I am the cornerstone. He says peace is actually possible, not circumstantial, sustained, lasting, relief, restoration for your soul, redemption, right standing. You're gonna have trouble? You kidding me? But Jesus actually knew that if all he was there was to liberate them from Rome within a generation, it would be the next thing. So I just wonder if this is the day. Because it'd be a shame if we just gather together, we do the thing again and again and again, and we sing the song, and we leave here unaffected by the power of the gospel to actually work in our heart, to change us, to be transformed. This wasn't like just a fixer-upper episode. Jesus was saying, I was come to make everything right and restored back to me. He says, you did not know the time of your visitation. That's verse 44, if you're still following along in Luke. They had missed the moment. I wonder how many moments I have missed. How many moments I have missed forgetting. No, my life is actually founded on the rock. He is the cornerstone. I wonder how my perspective has shifted over time away from the very thing that once brought me back to life when I was dead. This can be all of our story. And this can actually compel us forward in our life. This is the day. This is the day. Some of you can't keep waiting. This is the day. This is the day to put Jesus at the center of your business. This is the day to put him in the middle of your finances. This is the day to put him at the middle of your household. This is the day to put him back as the cornerstone of your life and your conversation. This is the day to continue to contend again in your prayer life for the thing that he has already called you to. But if you're not aligned, the whole thing falls. This is the day. And I just want to set a moment before the sacrifice on the cross or the miracle of the resurrection to just get a clear picture of who Jesus actually is to you and to me, to remind ourselves of the peace and the power that we walk in, not because of his mighty works, but because of his nature and his character. If we get a clear picture of the King that is actually coming, the King that we honor and that we celebrate, And maybe for some of us to actually shout, Hosanna, save me now, because maybe it's your first time stepping into a relationship with him. Or maybe it's because now you actually trust in the power and the redemptive work that he brings.